Wage growth has stalled. Let's have a look. Good afternoon, everyone. Florian Heiser here, and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Here with my stein of coffee, and I thought we'd talk about wage growth because the ABS has released the figures today, and unsurprisingly, they've stalled. But surprisingly, the reason why they've stalled is because of a large increase in public sector wages. Well, maybe that isn't that surprising after all. So, let's have a look at this article from the ABC Business. Wage growth stagnates at 2.3%, despite a jump in public service pay. So, if the public service sector is increasing, but overall wage growth is stagnating, what does that tell us? What does that tell us? And remember, guys, we're fighting inflation. So if inflation outstrips your wage growth, well, you're going to wind up with less. So let's have a look here from Trading Economics. You can see here we've been at 2.3% forever, well, for the last 4 quarters. And we'll go up to 5 years. And you can see, it's tracked right about down from 2014. Let's go to 10 years. You can see here, look at that dive since 2008. Let's see the max data that they have. And you can get an understanding here of where wage growth has sat. 2008, it was doing real well, and it shot back down, then it went back up. So yeah, I remember back when there was a architectural boom here in Brisbane as a student, you could get, no one was paid the award. No one was paid the award. You're always getting paid more than the award, and you could, get good pay rises. Not anymore. So let's continue. Australia's wage growth continues to flatline at an annual pace of 2.3%, propped up by a surprise lift in public sector pay. Over the June quarter, the seasonally adjusted wage price index rose by 0.6%, with a 0.8% increase in the public sector, more than compensating for a disappointing 0.5% increase in the private sector. The most significant contribution to wage growth this quarter came from the public sector, components of healthcare, social assistance industry, where a number of large increases were recorded in Victoria under a plan to ensure wage parity with other states. Australian Bureau of Statistics Chief Economist Bruce Hockman said, "Healthcare workers are leading the pack on wage increases, seeing their pay packets, excluding bonuses, up 3.3% for the year." Well, that's the thing, healthcare, isn't that sector pretty much resilient to the cycles of the economy, to the boom-bust cycles of the economy? People are always going to get sick. If you've got a socialized healthcare system, well, there you go. Should have become a doctor, Florian. What are you doing architecture for? So, where you're looking for work also is a big determinant on wage growth, with Victoria continuing to outpace the likes of Queensland and New South Wales, both sitting on the national average of 2.3% growth. Victorian workers continue to enjoy the strongest wage rises, up 0.7% over the quarter and 2.9% for the year. South Australia, Tasmania and the Northern Territory recorded the lowest quarterly rise of just 0.2%, although Western Australia brings up the rear in annual terms, with wage growing at a very weak rate of 1.6%. I need a coffee to get through this. So, have your wages grown, guys? Let me know in the comments if you managed to get a pay rise. Or if you're a business owner, have your wages grown? Have they ever grown? Or is it always just a challenge? All of a sudden it grows really big for one big job or a big project win. Yay! And then boom, it's terrible again. Or the old trick of where people, their wages related to how much money they want to have borrowing capacity from the bank. So the wage price index by state. So you can have a look, quarter-on-quarter change, year-on-year change. And Victoria is right up there at the top. And poor Western Australia is down the bottom, which isn't too surprising with how dependent Western Australia is on the mining sector. Asia Pacific economists at global jobs site Indeed, Callum Pickering, said wage growth remains quite low across almost every state and industry, with only small pockets of genuine improvement. Well, I bet you that would be possibly shifting the figures. or weighing it to one side. The one saving grace for households is that inflation has been even lower than wage growth, Mr. Pickering said. Adjusted for inflation, wages rose by 0.8% over the past year. For context, real wage growth averaged just 0.2% over the past 6 years. Oh, there you go. This inflation that they always want to have, sometimes it's better if you don't have it than you actually get a pay rise. Mr. Pickering said it was unlikely wages would pick up much in the short term, given the slackness in the jobs market. With the unemployment rate at 5.2% and underutilization rate at 13.5%, there is still a huge amount of slack in the labour market, he said. Well, yes, and we're going to receive updated unemployment figures later this week. The underutilization rate needs to ease towards 12% before wage growth of 3% or higher is likely. That won't happen overnight, nor is it likely to happen within the next year. Yeah, well, I can't say I'm surprised at those claims. So the wage price index, we can have a look at it here. Wage price index year on year, quarter on quarter, 0.6. And here's the private versus the public sector wage price index. So red is the public sector and purple is the private sector. So have a look here. You've got, look at purple below public. Look at the public. Wow. Look at that. Look at that adjustment right there. Look at that adjustment right there after the GFC. Oh, hang on. Why am I drawing in red? I'll do it in yellow. Wait, no, I'll do it in green. Look at that adjustment right there. Boom. In the private sector. But look at the public sector. Look at the public sector. Slight reduction. So you can see that they're, in many ways, just hampered from the realities of the market. They're hampered from the realities of the market. And should they be? Does that mean they're going to be able to make the most competent decisions, particularly with regards to our economy and regards to what services could be run more efficiently? But no, we can't ask those questions, can we? So there we go. That's quite interesting to see just the difference. So guys, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think employment or wage growth has been where you've wanted it to be? Have you managed to get a pay rise? Do you know someone who hasn't? Why don't we look through these different sectors actually? So mining, quarter on quarter change, it's pretty low. We'll do the year. So there's mining. What's number one is healthcare. That's the top. Then we've got electrical, gas, water and waste. And then, you're going down here to arts and recreation, public administration and safety. Wow, where's construction? Construction, there you go, not very good. Year on year, 1.8 would say. Wholesale trade, not very good. Retail, pretty low. Accommodation and food, low. Manufacturing, low. I mean, don't you want at least to be at least 3% or 3.5%? I guess back in the day, that's what you would have wanted. If we jump back here, I mean, here you go. What was the average? Australia's seasonally adjusted wage price rose by... Wages in public sector increased this. Wage growth in Australia averaged 3.21% from 98 to 2019. So there you go, 3.21%. So everything here, year on year, is running below 3.21%, except the healthcare and social assistance programs. So the public sector is the one that is running at the average, the health sector. Well, there you go, guys. That's where we need to get our jobs. So we need to get our jobs there. How's education and training doing there? Not too bad. Not too bad, but everything is below. Everything is below. So if we have a look here, there you go. I know this is really scientific and accurate, but you can see where it's running. Same thing here, 3.21. I'd love to see this adjusted. I mean, there you go. From there, 2013, it's been below for both public and private sectors. For both public and private sectors, it's been below. I'd like to see that, the overall, the average with the public sector removed, but you can see wage growth has been below average since 2013, guys, no matter what anyone says. So, Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Share this video, please, to help the channel grow. We're getting a lot of new subscribers, and it's quite good, and I'm enjoying it. And I will see you all again later. Take care.